please turn on your camera. Once again, we will start our lecture, so please turn on your camera. Okay, we will start today by presentation. So each group should present their latest assignment. Starting from Group 5, Jonathan Reginald and Hildegard Arnaldo. Please present your work.
Give me a couple minutes, sir.
Okay, so good morning, sir, and good morning, friends. We will present our form today. This is our data that that converted to form. This is the customer data form, and then we have product data form. Basically, it is the same from our last assignment. We just added more records and we convert it to form. And this is the seller data form.
Okay, so you meant that user will fill out the data using this form.
Yes, sir.
Look, if you use this kind of form, it's not, well, this is not a good thing, okay? Okay, it's just like using Microsoft Excel if you, and people might make mistake. So please look at different type of forms and try to design a new form. So basically, if you had one form, you only look at the data that you are entering. not the others. You don't want to see the other data that already in that table. Okay. The idea of form is to hide the table from the user. Imagine if this is the seller data for Tokopedia and you as user, as buyer can see this. You can see all the information about the seller in Tokopedia.
Yeah, the data will leak it.
Yeah.
Not a good thing.
That's exactly my point. So you need to create a single form that only show you the data that you are entering. Okay, and that's applied to the other form. Okay, let me see. What's the ID for seller data? What's the primary key?
Oh, there are no seller IDs, sir. Because in the last assignment you tell we didn't have to add anything more about the rows, or so we just add more records at the seller data in seller data.
Oh, okay. Well, no, I think, did I say that? Okay, but you need to have a ID, primary key for each table. Show me the table, please. Without a primary key, it's very hard to differentiate between one seller to another seller. Okay, so you need to create seller ID, product ID, and customer ID as primary key. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay, good. Thank you, Group 5. Now, Group 4, Faith Joshua and Eleonora Michelle. Faith Joshua is not here. Eleonora, do you know where he is?
I don't know, sir.
Okay. Okay, well.
I do it by myself.
Okay. Good.
Okay, good afternoon, sir and friends. This is my forms for Netflix original movies, and this is for customer data, and this is the payment and billing forms.
Okay. The payment. Let me see the payment. Okay.
Yes.
So how do you create the payment number, Eleanor?
This is for customer. This is the customer ID, and the first is for the subscription type. The number 1 is mobile, number 2 is basic, number 3 is standard, and 4 is premium. And the second digit is from the bank, and the last second digit is from card number. This one. So.
Okay. You need another because if you do this, for example, if I'm stay with my package and I use the same bank and use the same card, it will be the same, the payment for every time. So you need to add another number to differentiate that payment from other payment. You understand that? Yeah. Okay.
Yes, I understand.
Okay, good. Thank you. So you work this alone, without.
Yes. Yes,
What
sir.
happened with your group mate?
I don't know. I text him and he didn't text me back. So yeah, I do it by myself.
Okay. Well, I tell you what. Since when did he fail to be contacted?
Since the data plus from the using this database, sir.
Oh, so after the midterm.
Yes, after the midterm.
Okay. I will take that into consideration when I grading your assignments. So you definitely got the mark, but he will not. Okay, because I see that he could not contribute, and also he failed to attend the classes, and probably he will fail this class anyway because he exceeded the number of absence. But yeah, I'll take that into consideration. Good job.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay, so group 3, Jessica and Lovely.
Yes, sir, wait a minute.
Okay, good.
Can you see my screen, sir?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, good morning, sir and friends. Actually, there are two revisions from last week's presentation. The first one is there is no invoice table, and the second one is the profits data in the customer information table.
Okay.
We decided to add a new table here. There are only 5 tables in the previous presentation, and now we have 6 tables because we add an invoice table here.
Okay.
Besides, there might be some changes in the table because we realized that the tables we presented last week were not complete yet. And in these tables, we use 30 customers data.
Okay.
The first table is the customer information table that consists of customer ID, the first name and last name of the customer, the telephone number, the email, the address, city, province, country, and postal code. The second table is the order details table that consists of the customer ID, the order date, product ID, the product name, the quantity, the unit price, the discount, the amount or the total price, and the shipping ID.
The third one is the payment table, consists of order ID, customer ID, invoice ID, payment date, payment time, payment type, and account number, and the paid column show whether it is paid or not.
Okay.
And the fourth is invoice table, consists of invoice ID, shipping ID, customer ID, invoice issue date, product name, quantity, unit price, discount, and the total price. The next one is the product table, consists of product ID, product category, product name, unit price, stock, and the sold column show how many products have been sold and the BPOM number. The last one is the shipping table, consists of shipping ID, customer address, city, province, postal code, country, and delivery company. Shipping date, estimated arrival date, and order status, whether it's shipped or not. That's all from Group T. Thank you.
Okay, good. Where is the form? On the assignment, I asked you to create the form for entering data into the table.
Oh, I'm sorry, sir. I thought it is only the table.
Okay, well, next time you need to look at the assignment closely, because that's on the second point. So the first point, create all the tables. The second is create the forms for adding data into the tables.
Okay, sir, I'm sorry.
Okay, that's good. Okay. Next, group 2, Maria and Vincentius.
Okay, sir. Good morning, sir and friends. Now I'm going to present our data form. So we have membership data consists of ID, card number, customer name, country, phone number, address, and then we have the product data. It consists of ID, product name, product number, quantity, price. Then we have sales data. It consists of ID, date, name, country, phone number, product, shipping, discount, protection, billing, delivery, and more.
Here's the sales data, which consists of product, shipping, payment, membership ID, the discount, because there is the member, total payment, billing, and done or not. For the membership data, can we go to membership data? From the membership data, we have card number or ID number, customer name, country, phone number, and address. And lastly, the product data. We consist of product name, product number, quantity, and price. But we apologize for not yet creating the forms that we are prompted, because we don't know if we should get the form for the database, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Fine. Okay. Last but definitely not least, group 1, Pierre and Gladys.
So, good morning everyone. We are from Group 1. Would like to do a presentation about our data table. So, this is our data table. So, most of them are the same as we have presented last 2 weeks. There are customers data, drivers data, menu data, restaurants data, and during the transaction data. So, we have added 25 data about on each of them and make a few revision about our previous mistakes.
So from our previous mistake, we make a correction that the password cannot shown directly, so we encrypt the password. And then in the menu data, we add the price, the missing price that are not shown in the last presentation. And that's all.
Sorry, sir, but we haven't made the form for the submission, but last time at 10 a.m. I just realized, so I make the form according to the automatic.
Okay, auto wizard.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Good one. Okay, so yeah. Next time, please read the assignment requirements carefully. What you need to make and what you need to submit. Now, I've seen that a few of you actually modify your database design, table design from the previous presentation to now, which is great. In practice, in reality, if you design any information system, there's always revision. Okay, if you look at any major software like iOS, Android, Windows, there's always a new version coming up, and every version will bring improvement compared to the previous version, and that's normal. So if you improve your design, you modify your design, that's fine. Okay. Okay, and that would be the later on when you need to create a report for the whole process. You already create the element of the report, and then what you need to do is to improve or revise your each of the element and then compile it into the single final report that will be your final exam. Okay, so that's for later. Okay, but that's good that you improve and revise your design. That's happened all the time. In my experience, I have never find any system development that the user will accept the design on the first occasion. There's always revision, there's always criticism, there's always something to change. So what you did now is normal. Okay, so improve that and move on. I will not give any assignment yet today. Okay, so if you need to revise your database design, please revise it, and we will continue for the next assignment later. Okay, good job. Okay, now today we will discuss a specific transaction processing cycle, which is human resource management and payroll. Some accounting information system books will include payroll inside the expenditure cycles. If we talk about payroll, and it's not wrong to include payroll inside the expenditure because the company pay some money to their employees, and then in return the employees will give their time, their ideas, and their working hours to the company. So in that matter, it's like the company buying labor from their employee. However, in the modern business, employee is not just about payroll. Okay. If you look at the human resource management area, it's so much more than just paying the employee. Okay. Recruiting human resource is quite complex process, and it has a lot of consequences. For example, if you recruit employee, you need to think about the career that employee. What's the next step? Okay, you need to think about the salary and salary increase. For example, in Atmajaya, every 2 years I had salary increase. Okay, automatically. It's not much, just about 100,000 rupiah per 2 years the increase, but that's increase nevertheless. Okay, you need to think about the career. if I recruit an employee, what kind of training, what kind of education, what kind of career path. Okay, so we'll discuss that. So let me share these slides. Okay, so in that regards, that's why I agree with Romney and Steinbart that human resource management should be a separated cycle from expenditure cycle, because it's so much more than just paying employees. Okay, so human resource management parallel cycles is dealing with all operations associated with effectively managing the employee workforce. Okay. These are the tasks that perform in human resource management cycles: recruiting and hiring new employees, training, job assignment, compensation, performance evaluation, and discharge of employee. Okay, so dealing with human is quite complex business. For example, from recruiting and hiring new employees, it is quite difficult to recruit a proper employees. Okay. In my experience, and this is why I'm not really stick to education background, a lot of my fellow students when I was college, and then a lot of my former students, after they graduated from accounting program, many of them did not work as accountant or in accounting. I had one student that she is now the IT manager of a mining company. I had a fellow classmate when I was student. Now he is a ATM programmer, ATM machine programmer for a bank. One of my fellow students, he was from management program. He was from marketing management. Now he is an internal auditor for a state-owned bank. Okay. And many of, if you look at your classmate now, many of you probably will work as entrepreneur, having business, or okay. And this is what I always say to my advice, my students, that they have me as their academic advisor, especially first year student or first semester student. If you pick up a college major, either accounting or engineering, or pick the one that you like, okay. But after you graduated, it's not always that you can work in the same area as your education. Okay, let me give you this example. I had a friend. He's a year behind me, so he's my junior. He went to civil engineering program at Atmajaya. So when he graduated, he worked for Astra. In Astra, there is a program called management training, and so many other big companies also have this kind of program, so management training. So when he was in management training program at Astra, they found that this my friend here, although he was graduated from civil engineering with civil engineering degree, his skill was much more inclined to human resource management. So he was trained and sent to a training to overseas, to Germany, to become human resource professional. And then he was hired by Maybank and now become one of their vice president. in charge of human resource, in charge of talent, finding new employee. So his undergraduate degree in civil engineering was not used for his job. Many years ago, the vice president for human resource in Astra International was graduated from AGNI, mechanical engineering school, rather than human resource. And if you look at many banks in Indonesia, a lot of their directors came from engineering educational background rather than finance or accounting background. Okay, so yeah, recruiting and hiring. If you apply for a job, good GPA, good grades is required, but it's not sufficient. You need to have other skills. Okay. I once met with a person that she graduated from one of the private university in Indonesia, accounting degree with GPA more than 3.5, and yet she could not create financial report. Yeah. So that's the difficulties. Okay. So recruiting and hiring. So recruiting and hiring new employee is a difficult process, and unlike purchasing machine or building or land, if you recruit the wrong person, you could not just fire that person. That would create a problem. Okay. If you bought the wrong machine, if you bought the wrong building, you can destroy that or just resell that machine, no question asked. But if you fire an employee, that becomes a problem. Okay. Okay, so recruitment, and then it continues with training. Okay. Many companies will have a management training program where they will see if you graduated from university with a bachelor's degree. Most of the knowledge that you already learned probably will be different from what you found in the companies, and that's normal. Accounting practice in one company will be different from the other company, although the principle still the same, the substance still the same, but the practice probably different. That's why the company need to train new employees so they can be familiarized with all the procedures and all the practice in that company. And that's the management. Okay. And then after the training, they will be assigned. In many management training program, the employees, the new employee will be assigned to different function, probably first to accounting and finance, and then move to marketing, and then move to production, for example, and so on and so forth. And then after the management training finish, there will be assessment. If they pass the assessment, that assessment will also take into consideration what's the best field for that employee. Is it in accounting? Is it in finance? Is it in human resource, production, sales, or any other? Okay. And then they will assign job based on that assignment. And after you do your work, there will be compensation. Payroll, salary is the most obvious one, but it's not always about salary or about money. Okay. When you apply and you decided to become employee later when you graduated, you need to look at the whole package. For example, did the company provide fringe benefit like health insurance, not just BPJS, because BPJS, both BPJS, ketenagakerjaan and kesehatan, are compulsory, but did they provide additional benefit on top of that? Did they provide pension plan or any other pension form to the employee? Did they provide continuous education? Did they provide trainings, career development, people development, things like that? Many big companies have this kind of program. Okay, so when you want to have promotion, you got to follow this training, you got to pass this training, things like that. And also, did they provide, say, compensation like having stock option, chance for you to buy the company stock? And also, can they have any other fringe benefit like paid vacation, working tools like smartphone, laptop, or housing allowance, car allowance, things like that? You need to look at the whole package. And I'm proud to say that even though Atmajaya is not as rich as other companies, perhaps, but Atmajaya provided complete compensation package. I got health insurance, I got pension plan, although it's not much, but there is. Also, I got continuous education. Atmajaya will pay for that lecturer to get doctoral degree. Okay. If I want to have training, Atmajaya will pay for that as long as it's related to my work, things like that. So it's complete compensation, relatively complete compensation package. Okay. So when you work for a company, don't be tempted by big salary only. You need to, and then you will, a good company will have clear performance evaluation, and it should be done regularly. My performance is also evaluated every semester. The faculty will look at my attendance, how many times in a semester I give lectures, how many times in a semester I give assignment. Did I submit your grade on time, or should the Pak Dekan warn me about submitting grades, things like that? Okay. And performance evaluation will be based for promotion and also incentive or bonuses. Okay. If you fail to achieve satisfactory performance, you will not get promotion. You will not get incentive or bonuses. Okay. In regard to career path, when you work for a company, you need also to look at the company closely and carefully, whether or not that is a family-owned company. Many of Atmajaya students, after he graduated, they work for a big company. I could not say which one, but after a while, they resigned for that. Even though it was a good career, even though it was a good job, good compensation, complete and good compensation, but some of them felt that they could not move forward with their career. They could not get into higher position, even though they deserve it, because that was a family-owned company. So unless you are related in blood with the owner, you could not get into higher position. Some foreign investment company in Indonesia also have this kind of arrangement. Many foreign company in Indonesia, for example, they will have their CEO from overseas. Almost all director will be from overseas, except for human resource director. That usually has to be Indonesian, but any other, especially finance, operation, or production and also CEO, they always from overseas. Okay. Is it possible to have a local CEO, Indonesian CEO? It's possible. Okay. But in most cases, that was not the fact. Okay, so you need to consider that. Okay, like I said, don't be tempted by salary. And then at the end, we need to discharge the employee either voluntarily or involuntarily. You might be resigned from your position to find another job. You might be forced to resign because of health, or you have to resign because you reach the age of retirement, or you were fired because committing fraud. It could happen. Okay. In any way, in either way, there is a procedure for discharging employee. Okay. Whether they have a stellar performance or not, if it's time for them to retire, you need to retire. Okay. My retirement would be when, as a lecturer, my retirement would be when I will be 65. On my 65th birthday, I will be retired unless I reach the rank of professor. Then I would be retired when I will be 70. Okay. So recruitment and discharge usually done once for each employee, but it's not uncommon to have employees that work for a company, resign to work for another company, and then return to that company and work again. That's not uncommon, but still we need to have these procedures. Training, job assignment, compensation, and performance evaluation has to be done as many as possible. Okay. Okay, like 5 minutes for break. I need to do something. Okay, so 5-minute break. Sorry for that. My throat is hurting me, so I need to take to drink something. Anyway, let me continue. So, okay. So training should be done as many as possible. In my job as lecturer, obviously lecturer at Pajaya, we have to further our study to doctoral degree, if possible. I did that. We had many trainings, either related to our job as lecturer or any other skills that probably necessary. I was during the last year, I was attending and following few trainings about statistics, about data analysis, things like that. Job assignment, for maybe 1 year you will be assigned to office in Java, and then probably you will be assigned in office to outside Java, probably. So take a look at this. If you're working for other people, not as business person. And then you were assigned job, and you were assigned to a job that probably it hard. You need to take the job, especially if you are still new. Why? Because job assignment is actually a kind of performance evaluation. If you look at military, Indonesian military, for example, if you look at all those people who now in command of Indonesian military, they were usually have been assigned to difficult assignment. Let me look at the Ministry of the Minister of Home Affairs, Pak Tito Karnavian. Before he became minister, he was the chief of Indonesian Police, and before that, he was the commander of Densus 88, the Indonesian anti-terrorist group, and he was succeed. And then he was assigned as the head of Papua Police. In his first week as the chief of Papua Police, he was attacked by OPM, the organisasi Papua Merdeka. And then he was assigned as the head of Jakarta Police. And then he was assigned as the head of Indonesian Counter-Terrorist Office. So he went to different assignment, hard, difficult assignment, and he succeeded. Okay. So that's why he became the youngest head of Indonesian police ever, and then become the Minister of Home Affairs. And it goes with others. Pak SBY, he was assigned as one of the Indonesian troops that working in East Timor, for example. Okay. His son, Pak Agus Yudhoyono, his military career was actually quite good because he was one of the commander of Indonesian peacekeeping unit that worked for United Nations, and that's an elite assignment, and he succeeded in that. So actually, if he continued his work as military, he could become general or one of the commander in Indonesian army in quite young, but he decided to resign. So that if you got a difficult assignment, take it. If you succeed, you will be promoted faster than the other. Okay. So in the old days, when you want to be a physician, doctor, after you graduated from and you got the doctor degree, you have to work for Puskesmas. If you work in Puskesmas outside Java, you only get 1 year. But if you work for Puskesmas in Java, you will get 2 years. So if you willing to take assignment, difficult assignment, it will be faster. Okay, so that's, and performance evaluation should be objective, should be achievable, and should be transparent. I mean, everybody should know. For example, if I want to be a professor, I know what I need to do, how many classes I need to teach, or how many publications I need to make, how many community service I have to. I know that, and it's clear for me to how to achieve, how to be there. Okay. If you want to be promoted to manager, what kind of performance will be required? Things like that. So a lot of big companies usually have clear and objective performance evaluation. Okay. So this compensation for accounting or finance, only compensation payroll will be the responsibility, and the others become the responsibility of human resource management. So human resource management is not just recruiting employee, but also thinking about their career and people development. Although accountant usually only dealing with payroll, but payroll need to be treated carefully because it need to be designed to meet management's need and government regulation, especially with minimum wage. If you violate that regulation, it could result in fines and or imprisonment. Okay. There is a government regulation about minimum wage and when to pay your employees on certain date every month. There is a regulation about THR. You already know that. Fail to fulfill that requirements, then your company could get hefty fine. Not the employee will be furious. Okay. And also, this is the you need to monitor the development of employees, like what kind of training they already got, what kind of improvement they have been made, when the last time they got their promotion, things like that. Okay. You don't want an employee stay in their position forever. That's bad for the employee and bad for the company. Okay, now let's talk about how the payroll works. There are 5 major sources of input to the payroll system. First, for human resource department, provides information about hiring. So if there is a new employees need to be paid, termination, some employees that resign or retired, their salary payment need to be stopped, and pay rate changes. Early this year, I was promoted to a new rank from lector to lector kepala. So my salary should change because different rank will have different salary. Okay, so it was adjusted to reflect the promotion. Employees provide change in discretionary deduction. For example, if when I was bachelor unmarried, I got my salary and then I got benefit to buy rice for one person. After I get married, I get a benefit of family benefit, and also the rice money to buy rice was increased from 1% to 2% to account for my wife. Then when my daughter was born, it's also changed again because I know my family had 3. Then the family benefit was for 3, and also the rice money was also for 3 people. Okay. Health insurance also different. Single employee will be different from employee with family or dependents. Unfortunately, in Indonesia, a lot of it's changed now, but there is still, if you are female and even though you have family, you will be counted as single. Okay. So you will only receive single benefit rather than family benefit. From various departments, provide data about actual hours work. I have to report this every month. I have to report how many times I attend the lectures, how many times I skip lectures. That's why, and the report was also will be supported with your attendance list. Okay. Whenever I give you exam, midterm exam or final exam, I have to report that, and I will be paid. Whenever I finish marking your exam, I have to report that, and I will get paid for that. Okay, so that's from various departments. Okay, government agency will provide tax rates and any regulatory instruction like for BPJS Kesehatan and BPJS Ketenagakerjaan, income tax. Okay. Insurance companies also provide instruction of calculating and remitting various withholdings for benefit. In Atma Jaya, for example, on top of BPJS Kesehatan, the university also paid for private health insurance. So there are other benefits. What's the principal output of financing? The employee will receive paychecks. In Atma Jaya case, it was my salary. The money will be transferred to my account every month. And then the bank will receive money to be transferred, and also various government agency and insurance companies will receive payment. Okay, so you need to check this whenever you want to, whenever you work for somebody else, especially with BPJS, both kesehatan and ketenagakerjaan. I had a family member, relatives, that he used to work for a company, and then they deduct his salary for paying BPJS. At that time, it was named Jam Sostek. Okay, it was a long time ago, before it became BPJS. So he moved to another company one day. So he resigned and moved to another company. In his new company, he contacted Jam Sostek to have his pension transferred to the new company. But Jam Sostek said there is no account on his name. So after a careful investigation, apparently his old company say they had 100 employees. They only reported and paid for Jam Sostek for 50 employees, and another 50 never been reported. Although those 100 employees have their salary deducted every month. Okay, so you need to be careful. BPJS Ketenagakerjaan and BPJS Kesehatan both have account number, and you can check your status. Okay. Every year, BPJS Ketenagakerjaan will send me a report on how much I had in that account deducted from my salary. Okay, and I saw that Atma Jaya regularly paid my BPJS Ketenagakerjaan. So it's good. Like I said, Atma Jaya has complete compensation, although not as big as private companies. Okay. Organizational success depends on skilled and motivated employees. The problem with traditional financial accounting is, okay, let me ask you. A lot of companies or modern business will say that one of the most valuable asset for that company is employee. Okay, most valuable asset. So let me ask you this: on which report, the financial report, you can find employee? Jessica? Do you know where we can? Yeah, do you know where we can? What kind of financial report we can find employee? Is it balance sheet? Is it income statement? Cash flow? Yeah.
I think income statement.
Okay, good. All right. Do you know what account for income statement? Is it income or is it expense? Is it revenue or is it expense or cost, right? Okay, so employee is an expense, not an asset. If true that we are asset, we should be on balance it, but no. Okay, it's very hard actually to value employee to be an asset. For example, say Pak Putu and me. Which one is more valuable, Pak Putu or me? If it's valuable Pak Putu, how much? Is Pak Putu valued at 1 billion? 2 billion? It's very hard. And a lot of people will be uncomfortable if somebody assign them monetary value. Pak Samyaji's value is 1 billion. It seems much, but do I really worth 1 billion? Okay. Now, the exception is for athletes. In European Union, any sports club that hired of professional athletes, they could put the value of the contract of that athlete into the balance sheet as asset, and it will be amortized as long as the contract. So for example, Cristiano Ronaldo was hired by Real Madrid for 5 years and worth 100 million euro. Then Real Madrid could put the Cristiano Ronaldo contract in the assets. But that's only for sports. It's not applicable for lecturer, for example. Okay. So that's the complication. Okay. Any question? Oh, so that's it for today. Please revise your database design, and I'll give you another assignment next week. Okay. So that's it for today, and see you next week.